The controversy over the Supreme Court judgment on Imo governorship seat is not about to go away anytime soon, just as a debate on the legality or otherwise of the security initiative by Southwest governors codenamed Operation Amotekun remains on the top burner in the country. Well, let's begin from Imo, where supporters of the People's Democratic Party today trooped out in their numbers, demanding a reversal of the judgment that sacked Mr. Emeka Ihedioha as governor of the state. Well, the protests did not just take place in Imo State, as PDP supporters in other parts of the country equally held similar protests with the same demand: the Supreme Court reverse its ruling. Our next report brings you some of the highlights of these protests across the country.
Clad in black, the protesters walked the streets of Owerri, the Imo State capital, with placards conveying their convictions. They chant, backing it up with strong emotions. The protesters say they want the leadership of the Supreme Court to immediately take a judicial review of the judgment that sacked Emeka Ihedioha and make a quick reversal in the best interest of the people of Imo State.
They should quickly reconvene and reverse themselves. There are a plethora of instances and cases where the Supreme Court realized that they made mistake and Supreme Court reconvened to do justice. The important thing is the justice of the matter.
In this case, there is a thorough and clear evidence that there are underhand manipulations to undermine the entire Igbo nation. They undermine the wish and votes cast by Igbo people. Igbo people will not accept this.
In the neighboring state of Anambra, protesters sing solidarity songs, storming various locations in the capital city, including the Federal High Court area in Awka. They are also condemning the judgment, calling on President Muhammadu Buhari to use his good offices to ensure democracy is sustained in the country.
All the facts of the law, all the facts of the computation of the votes tendered by INEC goes against the grain of the judgment they have delivered. Yes. Democracy is hard work. We have to work hard at it.
Members of the party also staged a peaceful rally in Ogun State capital, Abeokuta, demanding a review of the Apex Court's judgment by a judicial panel.
We are begging, we are appealing to the federal government of this country to let justice prevail.
Those who are in authority, they know when something is condemned.
In the Northwest, the Kaduna State chapter of the PDP joined their counterparts across the country to condemn the Supreme Court judgment. There are similar demands in Gombe and Taraba states. However, in Taraba, the rally was called off in view of security reports suggesting that hoodlums may hijack the protest. Last week, a 7-member panel of the Supreme Court unanimously nullified the election of Emeka Ihedioha of the PDP and declared Hope Uzodinma of the APC as the winner of the governorship election in the state.
Meanwhile, the man now calling the shots in Imo State as a result of that Supreme Court ruling, Mr. Hope Uzodinma, says he has no plans of embarking on a vendetta mission. Governor Uzodinma, who was speaking to journalists in Owerri, the state capital, said that his directive to the state accountant general over the financial statements of the state is being misconstrued.
When I asked for this status report from all the ministries, many people misunderstood it or assumed that the purpose for calling for that information is because I want to probe. I never said I'm going to probe anybody. But the business of governance also involves probing if need be. So I needed those information because you can see there's no official handover from anybody. And for me to start the work, I need to know what is on ground. So we will start, and in the course of doing our business, if there are things that will require investigation, we'll subject them to investigation. My business here is to govern the people. And in the process, if there is any need for any particular issue to be investigated or probed, I will do that. But let nobody begin to speak for me, because I've not said that yet.
On the other hand, the governor and his party, the APC, are receiving support from the leadership of the All Progressives Grand Alliance, ABGA, in Imo State. At a meeting in Owerri, ABGA leaders in the state, including the governorship candidate in the last election, Mr. Ifeanyi Ararume, announced that they are collapsing their structures to form a coalition with the APC.
Actually, this move was even made long before the Supreme Court verdict, that there was need for us to work together, and we agreed that we'll work together. And that is simply that we have come together as leaders to, our people have suffered over time. We need to make the government succeed because we need good governance in Imo. We need to make our contributions. The whole idea to aspire to be governor is to offer selfless service to our people. Somebody has emerged through the verdict of the Supreme Court. That is the highest court of the land. Therefore, we need to tell our people, sensitize them from the grassroots to the state level to support him. And that is the essence of this meeting.
Away from Imo and still on politics, the Edo State Governor, Mr. Godwin Obaseki, is insisting that he will continue to favor merit above incompetence as he continues to rebuild institutions across all sectors of the state. Mr. Obaseki, who was a guest at a town hall meeting by Edo indigents in Lagos today, took the opportunity to give account of his stewardship. The governor had earlier in the day paid a courtesy visit on the Oba of Lagos, Rilwan Akiolu. Our correspondent, Olu Phillips, has a report.
In some months from now, Edo State will be going to the polls for governorship election. Its citizens, based in Lagos, have invited the sitting governor clearly for two things: present a scorecard and his proposal for the state. As expected, the makeup of the gathering cuts across all spheres of endeavor. Speaking to specifics on people, institution, infrastructure, power, housing, water, agriculture, security, Mr. Obaseki says there is high premium on education, institution building, and industrialization.
This one of hiring people strictly on as man, no man basis or on the basis of political influence cannot work. So I stopped it. I stopped that, indiscriminate hiring.
Could you please talk some more about what you are doing in the area of agricultural production?
From the audience came barrage of questions, and one after the other, the governor listened and provided answers.
The question on processing, the whole thrust of our Greek initiative is to create wealth. We are utilizing all the facilities being made available by the federal government. We have about 5 billion under the Commercial Agricultural Transformation Program, CATS. And with that, we are helping farmers prepare land. We are helping them buy chemicals, buy seeds, and giving them agronomic support.
The meeting rises after hours of interactions, but we won't let the governor leave without a little light on his relationship with his predecessor.
Unfortunately, I don't lie, there's no relationship because we suspended him and he has refused to come and apologize and make up to us.
Safe to say that beyond political persuasions, everyone here seemed to want the same thing: the good for a vast majority. Earlier in the day, the governor paid a visit to the Oba of Lagos, who requested he brokered peace with Comrade Oshomole. Mr. Obaseki, on his part, apologized to the monarch over the attack on his convoy, allegedly by the youths at the residence of the APC national chairman when he visited Edo State. Olu Phillips, Channels Television News.
More stories now. The Minister of Justice and Attorney General of the country may have described the security initiative codenamed Operation Amotekun as illegal, but that has not stopped notable Nigerians from taking a position on the subject. Former Vice President and presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, in the last election, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, who's throwing his weight behind the initiative, believes there's absolutely no need for the controversy the matter is generating. In fact, he considers the creation as timely in light of current security challenges in the country and sees the new security arrangement as going a long way to complement the efforts of the Central Police. According to the former Vice President, because our security challenges are diverse in forms and impacts, it is thus incumbent that centrally controlled police architecture cannot exclusively deal with those challenges. It is obvious that current levels of insecurity in the country are giving rise to major initiatives such as Amotekun, and the issue need not be controversial in the first place. Mr. Atiku supports Operation Amotekun, and the nation's former number 2 citizen says the country is not only desirous of regional security outfits like it at this time, but also a need to embrace community, state and zonal policing. Also speaking on the Southwest Security Initiative is another PDP bigwig who is also throwing his weight behind it. Former Minister of Aviation, Mr. Femi Fani-Kayode, believes the establishment of such initiative is long overdue. Fielding questions from journalists in Abuja, Mr. Fani-Kayode insists that there is no law preventing any group of Nigerians from defending themselves, particularly when the federal government is not living up to its constitutional mandates of providing adequate and effective security for all persons.
It's a laudable objective, it's necessary, it's something that, in my view, is long overdue, and something that needs to be taken very, very seriously by the rest of the country. And what I mean by that is that the Southwest has taken a decision. The moderates in the Southwest, the governors, have shown immense courage by doing what the ordinary people had wanted them to do long ago. Many of us thought they didn't have the courage to do it, but they've done it, and we should commend them for that. Anybody that feels that they don't have the support of the people of the Southwest is mistaken. And anybody that believes that we can be in any way intimidated into stepping back and saying that we will not defend our people and protect our people from those that come from elsewhere and slaughter them is mistaken. There is no going back. And it's something that we have a firm resolve about, where we speak as one, we stand as one, we're solidly behind the governors. Every regional group, every group in the Southwest is behind the governors. It's across party lines. Whether you're PDP or APC, doesn't matter. The fact remains that those of us that claim to be leaders from the Southwest have taken a position. We will defend our people no matter what it takes, no matter what it costs.